Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Especially domestic. Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. Welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. We are back from Politicon. We've been up in Nashville over the weekend doing interviews, and I was even interviewed myself by iHeartRadio to share this unbelievable event with you, what took place, and what to expect in the coming days as we piece together videos to bring to you, because let's see, someone, YouTube, would not allow us to stream out live as we had planned, but we've got it all together and we're going to get it all out there to you, the American patriots. We're also going to discuss the capture, or not capture, let me back up. I'm sorry, the taking out of al-Baghdadi, the ISIS leader, by U.S. forces over in the Syrian area. Wonderful event. Glad this guy is no longer breathing the same air that you and I are. And then we're going to get into the impeachment circus. It got really, really stupid today. Not sure how much you heard about that, but look, I say the Trump administration needs to just drop lawsuit after lawsuit on members of Congress and let this head its way on up to the Supreme Court to shut down this just outright outrageous event that the Democrats are trying to pull off. So stay with us. We're going to be right back to continue talking about today's breaking news and Politicon. We'll be right back. Folks, I came here to Politicon with the intention and the thought process, because that's how it typically is at political events, that I was going to, I guess, be angry. I was going to be able to get back in the face as some of the comments and some of the people would like to see, all right? My passion for this country is very, very strong. As I stand in front of George Washington, okay, and I think back to the bigger picture of America and what makes us so great, and as I walked around this venue and I realized that I couldn't get to the people that I wanted to actually get in their face, like James Comey, that was the big one, all right? I would love nothing more than to be in James Comey's face and explain to him what he did and whether or not it would matter or not matter to him, okay? But as I walked around and I started talking to people that are conservative, Republicans, liberals, Democrats, far left, far right, what I found was, in general, we all want the same damn thing. We want peace. We want to all be able to live the human race with dignity. And that's what the human race is. Do we live it fighting each other constantly, arguing about everything regardless of what our political views are? Is that how we really want to live our life? Okay, I can sit on videos and I can talk trash about Democrats or Republicans or liberals all day long. And you know I do that from time to time, depending on what they do. And I don't have a problem calling out anyone, whether it's a Democrat or it's a Republican. So when I got to going around here and I realized that I can't reach the people that I really want to say something to hopefully get a point across there how the American people feel about them because they ducked and dodged everywhere we went, then I met the average everyday person, whether they're wearing a Trump shirt or a Bernie shirt or supporting Elizabeth Warren or Cory Booker or President Trump or anyone else for that matter. They want the same thing that you and I want
out of this life while we're here, and to leave this country for another generation, our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, to be able to live the human race with dignity and pride and honor and respect. So the best way of doing it, in my mind, is to just open up a dialogue, which is what America stopped doing a long time ago. Take that divide that's in between the two parties and bring it together and find out, where do we actually agree with one another, and how do we get from point A to point B? Now, obviously, as you saw, not a single person went on the air to say negative things that were horrible about our president. Not one of them. Maybe it's because I'm 6 foot and 300 pounds and they were afraid. I don't know. Or maybe it's because they really didn't have anything bad to say. But our media does. CNN and MSNBC and sometimes even Fox brings to you a divide. And I'm telling you, my friends, when I went in the VIP room and I saw people that you see and I see on the media loving each other, hugging each other, as if they were just at each other's kids' barbecue recently, and some of them were, then I go, wait a minute, just yesterday I saw you trashing everything we stand for, and vice versa. And then I go back here and realize that that's all a freaking show. It's a dog and pony show, and they're doing this shit on purpose. That's the difference. I want to show you the real American people and how they actually feel. When I get the opportunity to do it in front of someone that is 180 degrees from where conservatives or Republicans are, or vice versa, then I want to explain that and hopefully get them to at least educate themselves on common sense, because there's a way to go forward and a way to go backwards. None of us want socialism, and we're all going to do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't happen to this country, the country that I serve for, the country that a lot of you served for, and some of you still do today. We want peace and prosperity, and we want the American dream. We want everything that our forefathers stood for. We want the Constitution to stay intact, and we want God, we want guns, we want everything our forefathers dreamed for us, but we want it in peace. Be prepared. Always stand up for your values and your beliefs, just like those on the left do. We on the right do as well. But when we come together and start talking about our differences, and we talk about the things that separate us, we all realize at the end we want the exact same thing. Some of us just have a little different way of getting to that point. Folks, thank you. God bless you all.
All righty, and we are back. Politicon. Listen, I went into Politicon locked and loaded as if I was going into an MMA ring, a boxing event, okay? I was beyond ready to possibly make a fool out of myself or get kicked out of there. But as we went along, and I realized that there wasn't anyone from Antifa ready to get into my face because I'm a conservative. Realized that there wasn't people on the left or members of the Democrat Party that wanted to slam me for my conservative viewpoints. The more we talked, whether they were someone that was there as a talent, or they were a member of the media, or they were just there to enjoy the event, the more I realize that, yes, I can be very, very strong natured and come at them the way that I wanted to in the beginning, the way that I attack some of them when I do my videos, primarily because they deserve it, because they don't understand anything else. Or I could try and build a bridge. When I say we're building something at Team Ducote to 2020 and beyond, well, you got to understand where the other side is coming from. You've got to be able to at least are feeling. Now, I'm not talking about those that want a socialist country, all right? And that's something totally separate. But you're going to see in the coming days, as we get some of these interviews uploaded, that I had conversations and interviews with people that are okay with socialism, young college-age kids. And when we were done, I had them thinking. I had them rethinking they are supporting for president in 2020. So, what good would it have done me if I'd have went in there loaded for bear, other than shorten my stay? Or I could work towards bridging a gap. And the more we saw people wanting to be polite and wanting to show me the same respect that they wanted in return, the more I thought we have an opportunity here. We have an opportunity to spread the conservative voice, the things that Republicans, the things that American patriots want as we move forward, and how other things, radical things that a lot on the left and a lot running for the Democrat nominee or nomination are completely out of touch with reality. And I do believe after you see these videos, you will grasp why I went in the direction I went into. That being said, one of the things that we had planned on doing while we were there was broadcasting live throughout the event of both days. That didn't happen. For whatever reason, we were able to get some of the events went live on Twitter and went live on Facebook. We could not get them to go up on YouTube. And when they would start to go up on YouTube, it would get shut down. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with YouTube and their typical attack of me because I'm a conservative. I do know that while I should have gained many, many more subscriptions to my YouTube, it didn't happen. We saw it at the .com, but we saw a reduction at YouTube's numbers. Now, that being said, we saw there's always been an uptick on the amount of people that view my videos. So how can all of a sudden 500 people like that just vanish after this big event? Well, many of you already know how that's happening. You're being unsubscribed from my YouTube channel. Thankfully, they can't touch us over at DouglasDucote.com. Well, they can if they really, really dug deep, but YouTube and Google can't. Let's put it that way. Which is more the reason to go over there and sign up with your email address. It's free. You get information that you can't get anywhere else but at DouglasDucote.com, as well as upcoming events and things that we're going to be doing. You will know all about that way in advance. And if the time comes that YouTube does what I believe they're going to do, which is really restrict and or shut down conservative channels like mine, and they've already done that to many people, as you know, that are no longer on YouTube that had, some of them had over 1 million subscribers and they're gone overnight. That can happen to me at any time. At least via the website, you'll be able to follow me and know where I'm at all times. So please go over to douglasducote.com and do so. Sign up with your email address. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that happened there. One of the things was the thing I look forward to the most. There were two things that I look forward to the most. One was confronting James Comey. I wanted to stand in front of him face to face, or at least my face looking up at his big bird ass, 6'10" or whatever the hell he is. I wanted to hear, this was the main question that I wanted to ask, which would have probably been the only question I would have had the opportunity to ask before he left the space that we were in, was, how does it feel, sir, to know that 99.9% of veteran law enforcement officers and current law enforcement officers think you are a disgrace to the uniform, an embarrassment to America, and should be in prison? That's what I was prepared to say. He would have said, well, where did you get those statistics from? I'd have said, all you got to do is read the comments to your tweets and see that America dislikes you and your kind, allowing the biggest criminal to ever infiltrate into our United States government off the hook. You destroyed everything our justice system has to offer over political bias and the fact that you felt that she was going to be the next president of the United States. But what happened, my friends? We tried to get to James Comey when he got there, and he was surrounded by more security than the president is. Paid security out of his pocket, and a lot of them. They looked like Secret Service. They were dressed up like Secret Service in their, coat and tie and their little microphone thing in their ear and their dark glasses on, and, they're beady-eyeing everybody. So we figured, all right, we get him in the VIP room. He's bound to come in there either before or after. Nope. No, it wasn't going to happen. Why? Because he knew that someone was going to ask him the questions that he was too embarrassed to answer or didn't have an answer for. So they ushered him in and onto the stage at the exact time that he was to appear. And when he was over, they ushered his ass right out of there and he was gone. There was no opportunity to address this man. And that, my friends, was probably, and let's just hands down, was my main mission. But that didn't happen. So things changed, as I mentioned earlier, as we got to realizing, where's the Antifa thugs? They're not here. Where are the people attacking those wearing MAGA hats? And there were many MAGA hats. It's not happening. And then trying to figure out why. What is it we see that takes place on television all the time on the news? Well, I think it's based on two things. Number one, this was in Nashville, Tennessee for the first time. And Nashville isn't like the West Coast where Politicon's been held in the past, where you have heavy liberals that want to act like fools and shut everybody's free speech down. That's not in Nashville. And there were plenty of security and law enforcement officers with the Nashville police that would have taken some thugs upside the head if that would have happened, I strongly believe. So they chose not to be there. But we did have many, many liberals and far left Democrats. And what I noticed was that we were able to have an actual conversation, which is the only way we're going to build America in the future without having some type of a civil war, is to be able to be civil with one another, express your concerns, and then be able to have a dialogue about that, be able to talk about how you feel, and be open-minded to someone telling you how that will or will not work. And there were some tense times, I kid you not, and you will see that in some of the interviews. There are some times that I thought that possibly at any second I would be defending myself or just knocking the shit out of somebody because they were being that much of an idiot. But there was no reason for that. And it never got to that. And even in one case, some of the people that were with the one person who decided to be Superman were going to actually take him out if it ever got to that. So the general public that was there, conservatives, liberals, Democrats, Republicans, far right-wing people that were there, we all got along with each other. There was only one incident that I was aware of that took place that kind of got nasty, and that was an all-black panel of talent that was there to discuss racism in America. And they were a bunch of lying, outright idiots that made fools out of themselves. And that got a little tensy with some of the people in the audience. One of the other things that I noticed that I found that was that I wasn't expecting, and because I had media pass and was able to go backstage and go into these VIP rooms where the talent would be, I saw people from that you see every day on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, major journalists that are there in the White House, doing interviews and whatnot. On the air, they're fighting one another. They hate one another. They're putting out this very, very big divide in America. But you catch them backstage waiting to go on, and they're buddies. They're on first name basis. Not only that, they know each other's kids and their spouses. And hey, how's your grandmother doing? And, I talked to your aunt the other day and heard, she's in the hospital and I hope everything works out fine. And, hey, I saw your new dog on Facebook the other day that y'all got that puppy. And I mean, it was mind-boggling to see CNN people, for instance, and Fox News people that you would have thought they've been best friends for life. And I'm thinking, are we just getting a snow job here? What's happening? Why do you come on the air and trash each other and trash us, but then you're able to sit in the same room with each other and rub elbows? Yeah, that's right. And, speaking of Fox News, real quick, let me just go there. More and more, you're seeing that network slowly but surely lean left. Now, I don't know if it's because of the people that are advertising that are controlling what they're doing or saying. But folks, that's all we had left. because CNN and MSNBC, they're no longer journalists. They are a anti-Trump, anti-American, anti-military, anti-law enforcement, anti-veteran, anti-white person 24/7. That's all they do. So we had Fox. When Fox goes, and there's only a couple left there that I believe you can actually trust, then what's left? There's people like myself and other conservatives that are on YouTube or that have a platform, or blessed enough to have a platform like I am with DouglasDucote.com, that can continue to bring you factual information. And one of the ways that I do that is by going there in person, like I did on the border, like I'll be doing again on the borders. We're coming up at the end of January when we go from Brownsville, Texas, all the way to San Diego, California, and showing you what's really happening, showing you what part of wall is up, is not up, interviewing the men and women on the border. And like I did at Politicon, going up and actually having a conversation with not just Republicans and conservatives, but Democrats, liberals, and far left socialists, wannabe life living liberals. And then sharing my own knowledge and challenging them to look forward and challenging them to educate themselves on who they're actually supporting. And I'll tell you, I truly believe that I got some of them to at least think about whether or not they were supporting the right candidate. Some of the interviews I was able to do, outstanding. One of the ones that was, to me, I was very blessed to do, I was very happy to do, and I looked forward to doing. We found out Saturday evening that I'd be able to do the interview, and Sunday, as he said he would, he was there for that to take place, was the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. Some of you have seen him on Fox News. He's been on CNN. He's been on MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, spreading his faith as well as bringing to you things about the African-American community that are lies, and exposing what CNN and MSNBC are doing these lies and trying to confuse the black voter. Folks, Reverend Peterson has a new book out. It's called The Antidote. I managed to get a copy of it. I've started reading it. I'm about halfway through it right now. I was already impressed with him by watching his interviews he does in the mainstream media. Read the book. I have a plan. And my plan is, and I'll work it with either him or I'll work it through the publishing company. I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet. But before 2020, somehow we need to get a copy of this book in the hands of every liberal, Democrat, especially if they are black, in the inner cities of America. Free to them. They need to be able to read this from a black man that's also a reverend, that's also been where they're at, but has not fallen for what the left-wing media is telling those in the African American community today. Jesse Lee Peterson is a true American hero in my mind. And he has shared in this book information that everyone, not just Democrats and liberals and the African American community, but everybody needs to read this and grasp what he says coming from his real life experiences to understand what's really happening. And he does it very, very, very well. So shout out to Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson for allowing me to interview him. Great guy. I'm sure many of you have seen him on the news, different interviews he's done, and the left attacking him. But look, it was a great interview, and I'm very happy I got to do that. Also had the opportunity to talk to Donna Brazile. She used to be the head of the DNC. She's the one that leaked the questions out to Hillary Clinton during the last run-up to the presidential election. She has since apologized for that. She's since admitted her mistakes for that. And she's actually on Fox News now. She has a show on Fox. I was able to, towards the end of our event there, talk with her. That video once, I believe it was removed by YouTube. We've got another way we're going to put it up there, but it's to show you that, guess what? A conservative, Republican, and a Democrat can actually come together, be peaceful to one another, be respectful of one another, and have the same goal moving forward. And that is for a good life for all mankind, for the human race. I was able to talk to James Carville. When you see that interview, you're going to find that interesting, because not only did we talk to James, but we also filmed some of his talent speech there and the event that he did. And you're going to find something interesting about that. How it didn't matter behind the scenes in the VIP room or on the stage in front of James never changed. He steadfast is down the road of never Trump. So again, go check this out if you haven't already done so. Let's see. The first time for all of Team Ducote to come together was at this event. Some of us had never met the other ones before. Worked out perfect. We all came in together. We all worked well together. And I believe that once we get all of the videos up, you're going to be very happy and very pleased with the outcome. Besides that, iHeartRadio was aware of what I was doing, and it was sent over to them that, maybe you should talk to this guy. And so I was blessed to be able to go on iHeartRadio, and that interview you can catch just the radio portion of it, which is on my community section, or you can wait for a day or two. We're going to have the camera portion of it, the video portion of it, where we had our camera rolling to catch me being interviewed on the radio. And you're going to get some information there coming from me that you've never heard before. All right. And I'll leave that right there for you to watch it when it comes out. I shared some information that I believe you're going to want to know, and I believe that most people in general will be happy to hear as we move forward to 2020 and beyond. So overall, Politicon was a wonderful event. I'm very happy that we were able to go there. I'm very happy with the outcome, that it did not turn into Douglas Ducote, get you and your team out of here and don't come back. I'm very happy that it turned the way it did, where through interviewing people, I was able, I truly do believe, to get some liberals and Democrats to think about who they're supporting and to realize that they've been led astray as to the real Donald J. Trump and what's actually happening in America and what he's actually been able to accomplish for our country. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to come back and we're going to discuss the takeout of this ISIS leader, as well as the impeachment circus. It just doesn't seem to want to stop. Folks, hang in there. We're going to be right back after this commercial.
And let me, Doug, do you mind? The audience was asking if I can play that Jesse Peterson video. Do you want me to run it right now? It's up to you.
Don't we have that up?
Yeah, it's up. I gave everyone the link, but people were asking, so it's up to you. Or we just go to a quick commercial break.
Let's go to a quick commercial break because we're short.
You know
on
what I'll
time.
do? And you know what I'll do, guys?
Video.
Yeah, and you know what I'll do, guys? If you stick around to the end of the show, I'll run it at the end of the show.
Sounds great.
All right, fantastic.
Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code DOUG for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
And we are back. And as we talked about right before the break, the interview with Jesse Lee Peterson was posted yesterday to YouTube. It also went out via DouglasDucote.com. It is on Facebook, American Patriot by the Grace of God. It is on my Twitter account. So please go there and watch it. And at the end of tonight's show, our producer, Dustin Gold, will play it for you guys that would like to see it tonight. Okay, so real quick. We know that all the things that have recently taken place over in Syria, President withdrew forces from there, and a lot of negative came out of that, but also a lot of positive came out of that. And I'm not quite sure how or where, or I mean, I'm no longer in the loop. My military days are done and over with, but you know, how are U.S. forces, special operators, where they were actually at, or maybe when the forces were being withdrawn, special forces commanders went to the president and said, okay, look, we've been working towards this goal of bringing this guy down, and we think we can do this in a matter of days. Who knows how it came to be, all right? But they managed to find out where this freak of nature was at. And he is, or was, the leader of ISIS, okay? He was the person that came up after the Taliban went down. Same goal in mind: destroy all Americans, destroy anyone in a coalition that helps America. He was a very, very, he was probably more of an evil person than Saddam Hussein, possibly even more so than Adolf Hitler, okay? He was a serious evil person that I'm sure tonight is in the bowels of hell, if hell exists. But U.S. forces found him, and when he was about to be captured, it is my understanding that he took his own life instead of allowing our U.S. forces to take his life, because I don't think there's a single one of them that would have allowed him to come out of the hole in the ground he was in, or the bunker he was in, alive, for all the horrible crimes that this guy has done. And we're talking when we talk about this guy, folks, this is the guy that's responsible. Some of you, if you were following the news and following all the things that were happening to Christians in the Middle East, that's him. He was rounding up Christians and putting them in cages, hooking up a crane to the cage, bringing it out over the ocean and lowering it down the ocean and letting them drown in the cage. He was putting them in cages, supporting it off the air with a crane and lighting bonfires underneath it and letting them burn up in the cage. He would torture people, not just chop their heads off. He was into torturing Christians. He's the one that's responsible for the literally thousands of historical Christian monuments throughout the Middle East, museums throughout the Middle East being destroyed, where they would go in with hammers and just bust up all the stuff into pieces. All right. Going to graves of Christian people and destroying them. Okay. That's this guy. He was the face of evil. And he's responsible for the deaths of many American forces as well as our coalition. He's gone now. Thank God he's gone, along with many other evil people that were taken down at the same time. We had a military working dog that was there as well. Some of y'all have heard about this guy, this dog, and the dog was injured. The dog is recovering now. Trump tweeted about the dog. The dog's all over social media right now. The dog has become very, very famous. You know, I don't know if the dog actually got to this guy before he offed himself, or maybe afterwards, you know, or who the dog managed to eat up really, really bad before he got injured himself. But hopefully in the near future, more is going to come out about this dog. But what makes it great, the only thing that could have made this better was if it was instead of a working dog, if it was a working pig. All right, if it was an actual hog or a pig that was trained to be a working military animal, you know, because they hate pigs worse than they hate dogs, from my personal experience in the Middle East. So that would have been kind of funny. So anyhow, the guy's gone. Our U.S. forces are continuing to monitor the situation over in Syria. We've managed to get Turkey to stop attacking the Kurds, at least at the moment. We're not going to pull out of there to the extreme that was originally announced. Is ISIS finished? No, they're not. Don't let anybody tell you they are. Are they diminished? Yeah, by a lot. Especially when every time they have a leader that rises to the occasion that Osama bin Laden did, or this freak Baghdadi, and they see that our forces can reach you wherever you're at. You know, you can run, but you can't hide. And if you keep running, you're only going to die tired. So, look, you know, it's a great recruiting tool to show these wannabe radicals that this isn't where you want to go. Because in the process of going after your leader, you're definitely going to die. Okay. And that's something that we have been able to prove with our U.S. Armed Forces. So, to the brave men and women that serve in our United States military that were part of this operation, hey, congratulations. You guys and girls did an outstanding job. And to all of our men and women serving in the United States military, look, there are real Americans that love you guys. And look, we are 100% behind you. Okay. And never forget that you're in our thoughts and prayers, and America supports what you're doing. And people like myself as a veteran advocate and other veteran advocates across this country are doing everything in our power to where when you do come home and your job is over, that you're going to get the proper care that you need and deserve and was promised to you by our government. So that guy's dead. We're all happy. This impeachment circus continues. The thing that I wanted to share with everybody, for those of you that were just tuning in today, if you didn't hear about this, Adam Schiff held another behind closed doors secret meeting, although now Republicans are allowed in there to a certain degree. And they brought in Lieutenant Colonel Alexandria Vindeman. All right. He was going to testify and share some damning information, I guess, about the president and everything that took place with the Ukrainian BS that the Democrats are going for this impeachment with. And during the question and answers, it became very obvious to Congressman Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise that this guy shared classified information with a member of Congress or members of Congress that he shouldn't have, that were Democrats, which then puts him up for criminal charges, and the people that took it and ran with it. So when that became obvious, Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise said, okay, who are these Democrats that you shared this with? And when they asked that question, Adam Schiff shit himself and went, no, we're not going there. And he's in charge of the committee, so he shut it the hell down and ended it and would not allow the lieutenant colonel to answer the question. So once again, we have Adam Shifty Schiff, shit for brains, I'd like to call him, doing unethical things with people that are unethical. This guy is one of the biggest disgraces to America. He sure as hell is a disgrace to the United States Congress. I put him on the exact same level as I do Alihan Omar and Talib Shalib Shithead, or whatever her name is, the other towel wrapper, and AOC, who was delivering drinks yesterday, and today she's making new Green Deal policies and having great memes made about her because she's worthless as my nipples, because I can't produce milk and breastfeed a baby. All right. So I don't even know why males have them. All right. But the AOC and the rest of these clowns are 100% idiots. And Nancy Pelosi fell in line with them, showing that she doesn't run, Speaker of the House, in name only, and allowed them to lead her down this path of self-destruction of the Democrat Party as we know it. All right. So yesterday, they came out and made it sound like CNN and MSNBC did a great job of this to appease liberals and Democrats that want to see Trump gone. made it sound like they were finally going to take that vote of impeachment and then impeach the president. And number one, that's not what it was about. It was to set standards on what they were going to do or not do. Wait a minute. Set standards? The standards already exist, and you're already breaking every damn one of them. Okay? You're not following any of the standards, much less set new standards. What new standards? But they made it sound like they're taking a vote on the impeachment. And right away, I'm thinking, well, that's great. It won't even get out of the House because she doesn't have the votes. If she held an impeachment vote tonight, she wouldn't have the votes. Because there are Democrats that are not going to go with this because they know their career as a congressperson is over in their district. So it's not going to happen. Even if it does happen, folks, unless you have the Senate, you're spitting in a fan because it's not going to happen. You're not going to impeach this man on what they claim he did. When the person on the other end of the phone call with the president, the Ukrainian president, says, I was not pressured into anything, and at no time was the money that was coming to me authorized by your Congress held up. Nobody told me about that. Guess what? It's over with. It doesn't exist. It's a mute issue. But no, they keep this going forward for a purpose because everything else has failed. Stormy Daniels, Trump University, Russia collusion. Every time they said, we got him, this will bring him down. We have the evidence. Wait till you see. We have what will take this man down and impeach him. It turns out they don't have shit. Nothing. Zero. Matter of fact, Stormy Daniels has to pay Trump all his attorney fees. Russia collusion? Boy, wasn't that a joke? And now they're going down this road with this quid pro thing and Ukraine. It already blew up in their face. Before they ever knew what was in the conversation on the phone, they were convinced that Trump did wrong. So Trump releases the transcript to prove he didn't do wrong. Then gets approval from the Ukrainian president to share everything about the conversation. Do they back down and go, okay, well, we got it wrong. Let's go look for something else? No, they're doubling down on this. And they can double down all day long. They have taken the Democrat Party to, I believe, a level of destruction that it cannot recover from. At least not before the election in 2020. The best thing the Democrat Party can do, and I hope they don't, because I like where they're going. The best thing they could do for themselves is stop all this silly impeachment bullshit and actually start doing their job that they were sent to Congress to do, and that is to help keep America safe and to help make America strong and to help bridge gaps between Republicans and Democrats. But they're not going to do that. They're going to continue to say stupid shit like we want open borders. We want MS-13. We want to take away all your guns, especially if they're black and scary. We want to do away with law enforcement on the border. We want to disband ICE. We want to cut the military budget in half. We don't care if anybody attacks our forces overseas. We don't want them to respond. And we're going to continue to put people up in Congress that will rewrite American history. such as Alihan Omar and Rashid Tlaib and AOC, un-American freaks of nature that are up there making policies for the American people. We are at a crossroads as we move into 2020. I do believe as long as the Democrats continue down the path they're going, that President Trump wins in a landslide. And then they're going to give up on all this. Why? Because he won't be running in 2024. There'd be no reason to try and embarrass him, humiliate him, or shut him down, because they will have lost. And trust me when I remember this day, and remember what Douglas Ducote said. If Trump wins and he becomes reelected again, all of this crap the Democrats have been doing stops just like that. Because their only reason for doing it right now is to peel off enough people to believe this silly ass, meth-induced, crackhead shit. Get them enough people to believe that to change the political landscape when it comes to the Electoral College. That's all they want to do. That is their goal. And if it fails, then they got no reason to keep pushing this false narrative, because it doesn't exist. And there's nothing that they can do to change the outcome of the election. Now there's going to be screaming and hollering. They're going to say, oh, it was rigged, and, and Trump had Russia involved, and he had Ukraine involved, and, all the same shit that they said, have been saying for the past 3 years. But overall, the impeachment shit will come to a screeching halt, because it will do them no good. And they will have actually eaten everything that they spun. And that's a good thing. Before we close, let me bring on my producer, Dustin Gold, for any extra things that you need to know, or that maybe I need to know because it skipped my mind. Dustin, how are we? Maybe Dustin took a break.
Sorry about that. No, I needed to unmute. I needed to unmute my mic this time. No, I just wanted to point out the really good. Someone in your audience is going to be running against Ron Kind in Wisconsin. Ron Kind is a congressman who went overseas with Pelosi and Schiff recently. So I've been in communication with her via text. We're going to talk to her in the next couple of days, see if what she's doing, what her plans are, and maybe get her on the show. It's great to have people in the audience running for office against entrenched scumbags. So that's fantastic. Yes, indeed. And then also, a lot of people in the audience have been asking you about this UN in Utah video that's been going around. I've been asking people for links. I told them it's probably not something we've been so busy that you've looked into yet. We will look into it over the next day or two. You guys send me anything. I put my email up there, Dustin@DouglasDucote.com. I'll sift through it and then send all the important points over to Doug, and he can take a look, and then I know you're all interested, so he can address it, whether he thinks it's real, not real, or what his understanding of the situation is, because it looks like it's something you guys are really interested in. So that's about it. I want to just thank everyone who left a super chat. Thank you very much. And again, I think Doug covered everything on Politicon. Over the next couple of days, we're going to just start dumping out a bunch of videos, and then we're going to put everything into one big video, kind of a mini Politicon documentary. But I think he pointed this out. I just want to say, you guys got to understand my feeling on this, and I've been to a lot of political events over the years, but especially there's an interview, it'll be called like Doug versus the Bernie Bros or something, but there was 4 kids, young kids, probably 20 to 25, but to be honest with you, what's scary is they're educated. Yes, they're indoctrinated, but they're educated. They don't believe they're pushing the policies of Mao. They don't believe they're pushing Cuban communism or Russian socialism. But what these guys, they believe in the cause. They were very educated. They were able to talk to Doug. He did a fantastic job of walking them down a path and then being able to get them to think about these policies that they are promoting. But you guys got to remember this, and I'm guilty of it. I think Doug is, all of you are, is we have a stereotypical image in our head of what we think a Bernie supporter is, or what a Kamala Harris supporter is, or an Elizabeth Warren supporter, or a Tulsi supporter. And I think we have to, it really opened my eyes to the fact that we need to stop thinking that way. Because, remember, there's 1 to 2 generations now who've been indoctrinated in the public school system with this stuff, who go to these universities who are pushing leftist, communist ideology. And these kids believe it. And everyone who was there that I talked to that was not a guest, not a talent, not someone on a panel. These are kids going to school for political science, going to school for international affairs, going to school for policy. They are going to be the next generation of staffers, bureaucrats, ambassadors, diplomats, politicians. A couple of the kids Doug talked to, I could see if they cleaned up and put a suit on, they could very well run for Congress in the next few years. So if we want to change this country, we have to change hearts and minds. And these conversations like Doug had are going to have to happen on a large scale, and not just the infotainment news 3-minute soundbite fighting that goes on, or what they did and duplicated on the stage at Politicon, where we just scream and yell at each other, because that isn't going to get us anywhere. We're not going to win by doing that all. There is a time for battle, but there's a time for diplomacy. And what Doug did with these kids, I watched it in their eyes as I was looking at it through the camera. He was waking them up, and he let them go for almost 30 minutes and allowed them to explain their policy and then question how it was going to be paid for, how it would be implemented, how a government-run healthcare system for 320 million people is going to run better than the VA system for 2 million veterans that's falling apart. And these kids really were amazed, and they were actually very respectful to Doug, except one had a Napoleonic complex, but the other ones very respectful, thanked Doug for his service. This Yang supporter that he talked to for 15 minutes, you're going to see that's pretty amazing. This was a well-educated kid, 7 years in the military, and could explain the points. But the point I want to make to you is that this is dangerous because they're educated, and these guys were way beyond one layer of the onion deep. They weren't talking points people. These were guys that were diving deep into the policy. And you're gonna see these conversations are gonna have to happen with our kids and our grandkids and all these kids out there, or we're gonna be completely overrun with this next generation of millennial brainwashed communist light folks, and there's nothing we're gonna be able to do to stop it.
Exactly. Well said. And hey, I want to give a shout out to Team Ducote. To Dustin, my producer, Christy Piccolo, Marilyn, Jonah, you guys did an outstanding job over there. My hat's off to you. I'm very blessed to have the team that I do that's supporting me, supporting this cause, helping us bring to you, the American people, American patriots, the real news and what's happening all across this country, and not the fake news and the things that are just spun into a direction of oblivious stupidity. At the end, stay tuned for watch the video that'll be played shortly next with Jesse Lee Peterson. Go out and buy this book, The Antidote. Great guy. Folks, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families. Their families serve too, and their families are worried today, tomorrow, 24/7. Are they going to come home? Are they going to be safe? Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Our Blue and Gold Star families, our president, and our country. For now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed night. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Support our movement. Join our cause. Stop by the Douglas Ducote Patriot Shop to get your official Team Ducote apparel and gear.
Don't let your whiteness matter at all. You just speak the truth, because God is not about color at all, and those who are seeking the truth will find that truth.
Folks, check out this interview I just did with Jesse Peterson, the Reverend. You see him on Fox News all the time. Great American patriot.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Hey folks, Douglas Ducote here. We are backstage with the Reverend Jesse Peterson. What an American hero. I love you. You do wonderful work.
Amazing.
Your new book is out, The Antidote.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this book.
Well, in The Antidote, I write about what the real problem is, not only in the black community, but in the world at large. And what it is the destruction of the family. If you don't have a father and mother who love what's right with all their heart, soul, and might, and be a good example for their children, then when they go out into the world will take over. And that's what's happening right now. And I give examples of that. I wrote about the fallen Messiah. And you know who the fallen Messiah is?
Tell us.
Obama.
I got you.
I call Obama the fallen Messiah because Obama did not have a father, right? He only had his mother. His mother hated her race. She was white, but she hated her race. She hated men. And so Obama grew up the same way. I write about Jesse Jackson. He did not have a father. Al Sharpton and all those guys, Muhammad Ali, all of them did not have fathers. And as a result, they grew up angry. And they blamed that anger on white people and other people rather than forgiving their parents so that they can return to God and operate from perfect love. And so that we don't rebuild that order of God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman and woman over children, things are only going to get worse. They're not going to get better. That's why God said we must be born again. And black people are suffering not because of racism, but due to the destruction of the family and the lack of moral character. They have hatred in their hearts.
You know, the fact that you say that, I've been preaching that for a long time now.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get my audience sometimes, and not all my supporters, but some of my audience, because it's coming from a white male. And I give them examples, you know, some of my black friends that share stories with me about what's happening and the destruction of, and it's white families too,
yeah,
you know, that have the
families,
problems.
yeah. All races.
And I've noticed that when people grow up in those type situations, typically it's in either rural America or in parts of America that are falling apart.
Right.
And then drugs get involved, and the parents split up. They go separate ways.
Absolutely. Out of wedlock birth and all kind of stuff start to happen.
Exactly.
But I do want to say to you, don't let your whiteness matter at all. You just speak the truth, because God is not about color at all, and those who are seeking the truth will find that truth. But if you consider your color, they're not, because a whole lot of folks don't like what I say. But then there's those few who are looking for the truth, and they hear and awaken them on the inside, right? And it doesn't matter about the color. So you just tell the truth, be a good example, and don't worry about the color thing. Don't even let Satan tell you, oh, they're not going to hear from me because I'm white. I mean, Jesus was a Jew or something, right? And we all other races heard from him, and some didn't, right? Yeah. So don't worry about the color. You just tell the truth.
Excellent. Great point. Great point. How you been enjoying this day?
It's been amazing. Yeah. This is the first time that they had held Politicon in Tennessee, or outside of California, as far as I know.
Right.
Norman, and I live in California, so Norman is right there at home. But it's really nice to be here in Nashville, Tennessee, right? Yes. I've been here several times. I have some friends here now, but I like coming here, so it's really nice being here. I like the weather here too today.
Yeah, it's a lot better than it was yesterday. We drove up from Louisiana in a tropical storm that followed us all the way here.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
Is there anything in closing you would like to tell directly to, well, my videos are at about 17 million views right now.
Amazing.
Anything you would like to share with American conservatives, Republicans, or even Democrats for that matter, about the future of America and how we are becoming great, and where you see us heading in as we go down the road?
Well, one thing I know for sure is that things are not going to get better until we restore God's order first. And that order is God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. Only that's going to work. We got to love one another. We got to don't worry about the color and where you come from or anything. We got to love one another. And when you bring back that order, then everything will get better. We are getting better in a physical sense in that President Trump, I call him the Great White Hope, the Great White Hope. He's doing really well in spite of the Democrats and others trying to stop him. But if we were to wake up and vote in the right people and vote out the wrong one, because the government's supposed to work for us, not we working for them, and now we're working for the government. Exactly. And that's why they hate the president so much. He's exposing them, right? So we got to rebuild that family and become good examples for the children so that they can see the right way to go. And I want people to check me out at jlptalk.com, jlptalk.com. I also have an online TV show called The Fallen State, F-A-L-L-N, thefallenstate.com. .tv. So check that out as well. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. It's an honor meeting you.
Thank you.
And keep doing what you do, which is helping bring America together.
Absolutely.
It's very much appreciated,
One thing
sir.
I just want to add,
Sure.
I have proven that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, deadbeat dadism, no Islamophobism, no isms. It's a spiritual battle. It's either right or wrong, good or evil. It's not a physical problem. It's a spiritual problem. And we need to wake up and realize that.
Amen.
Amazing.
Thank you, Reverend.
Amazing. Thank you, man. I appreciate
All
it.
right. Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code DOUG for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially